last?
drops
Oh,
first.
wait. Is that last tab something? Or
Yeah, it is. Disney execs reveal why Star Wars The Acolyte was canceled and addresses Skeleton Crew's fate.
let
Because
me
it
get.
sucked? Is that it?
So,
Because anything else is wrong.
Hang on, let me get the sad
let's
violin.
take a look at this. We'll segue and finish our show tonight on Star Wars. But Disney Entertainment's co-chair Alan Bergman has confirmed that the Acolyte's fate was sealed by its hefty budget rather than its diverse reception among really.
Absolutely not. This is garbage. See, the thing is that
Divisive.
if this show had done very, very well and gotten Disney Plus, like all the new viewers and everything like that, they wouldn't care about the hefty price tag if it paid for that, if it made up for it in the dividends. But it didn't. The reason that they're doing that, the price tag matters, is because of the fact that it didn't return on that investment. That's why. And the reason that it didn't return on the investment is because of the fact that it sucked. Okay, now you can go.
I also touched on this earlier too tonight. We were happy with our performance, but it wasn't where we needed it to be given the cost structure of the title. Quite frankly, to go and make season 2, so that's the reason we didn't do that.
Okay, so wait. Is this just a scam to launder money? Because budget, that was some of the cheapest. Oh my god!
Basil looked good though.
Listen, we got some numbers now though.
Oh,
actual numbers: 11.1 million globally viewership.
Over all 8 episodes.
Let's see. Within 5 days, it just says. Yeah, I guess.
Okay, so basically, like the first episode.
June 4th of this year, we were with an impressive 4.8 million views on the first day. Within 5 days, viewership reached 11.1. However, momentum faltered, and their show strong ratings. Blah blah blah. 488 million minutes viewed. Oh, they stopped giving you real numbers. It went down. So we started talking about viewership. See, this is a funny thing that these things do if nobody's in the know. They start talking hard numbers because 4.8 million in the first day sounds impressive. 11.1 million globally within 5 days sounds impressive. But then when you start going into it, it's like, well, there was only 488 million minutes viewed. This is where things get interesting because then you get articles written about how 488 million viewed The Acolyte, right?
Because they changed the wording.
Because they left out the word minutes or something when they do that, but it's technically true, but they're talking about minutes now, right? Despite climbing to number 6 the following week, the series dropped to the top 10 in week 3.
Okay, stop right there.
Returning to its final with the smallest viewership numbers of 335 million minutes.
So they keep trying to use it interchangeably.
Yeah, they straight up changed it. They went from viewership to minutes viewed because it's a larger number, but it's probably smaller than the actual viewerships. Do we know how many? Actually, let's do some math. How long is an episode of The Acolyte?
Well, the thing is that it varied greatly. There were some episodes that were in the 20s, and there were some episodes that were like in the 40s for whatever reason. It was really weird. It was a very inconsistent mess. If I remember correctly, like I watched it like basically secondhand. So I would watch play-by-plays and breakdowns.
Episode length of The Acolyte ranged from 30 to 43 minutes.
Yeah, see? And if I said it was 20-something minutes, it was because the credits went on forever. Like there was one where they did like a remix of some Amanda Stenberg song. It was terrible.
488. Let's
divide
that by say 35. We'll be generous and give it about 35 minutes on average.
Okay.
Right?
Multiply that by 8. Because there were 8 episodes. But they're 8 to 10.
Well, that's the other thing. We don't know if that's all 8 episodes or not.
Well, in the end, it's
Well, divided
480
by 8
million.
because that's the total. So no matter
Yeah.
what, it would be that many minutes. So even
Alright,
the
so let's
distribution
do
of
5.
minutes doesn't really matter.
Hold on, guys. We're trying to do math live.
Yeah, I know.
And none of us are Asian, so.
And Zio killed the timing of my joke. So
Wait, there was a joke somewhere?
yeah, I kept saying, wait, stop reading so I can press this.
Oh no! What happened? Oh no! How terrible!
But you don't get the whole thing because you didn't listen. You get the trailer of the joke.
Let's see. That's what, roughly 280 minutes across 8 episodes?
Okay.
That's not a lot.
Oh, wait, sorry. That's
480
million. Sorry.
So 480 million divided by 280? What is that?
Let's see.
That'd
About
be
1,740,000?
So that's how many people viewed this?
no.
I think my math is wrong.
Yeah.
Not a
Per
math
episode.
major.
Well, per episode, basically. Per
Oh,
episode,
yeah,
you got
I
about
guess
you got about 1 point something million,
Yeah,
which is
per
very, very low.
episode.
Which is pretty low, honestly, especially considering that the first one took 4.7 million off the bat. So then you have to subtract the rest of that. So that's not very high. But the thing is that the show sucked. That's basically it. If that had crazy high numbers, you better believe that they would have paid for at least another season of this garbage really
definitely. Viewership fell harshly.
Well, it looks
That's
cheap
why they went
too.
to minutes.
It so did.
So we're looking at
looked so
probably
cheap.
at about 1.5 million or something.
I don't know where that money went either. I mean,
Watch it.
That's what I'm
Basil the
saying. Like, did
convenience
they just launder the money?
Basil the convenience beaver was a good looking CGI beaver, but everything else in it was cheap or just wonky. They either overpaid or like they needed a department of efficiency, honestly.
Yeah,
So
they needed Doge.
yeah, well, Department of Disney efficiency, so that'd be like
Dode.
but yeah, but they didn't. So I think that this was a case of money laundering, but the thing is that Disney wouldn't have cared if it had been a success. This guy saying, "Oh, it would just cost so much," dude. You knew it cost that much when you were paying for it.
Yeah,
So
and that's the thing. They come up with a budget beforehand.
Yeah,
that's why I'm like, you knew this was going to cost this amount, and you knew what you had to deliver. But instead, what we got was, I'm going to be honest, because I love using this term now. I'm addicted to it. This was Temu Star Wars.
It was. It really was. Oh man, that scene where she cuts off her hair with a lightsaber is just it's all kinds of cringe.
Okay.
I mean, her face in that pose after, just like, wow, this is happening.
Question: Is Amanda Steinberg the lead actor? I take it that she's one of those it people. They them because they sit there and like they continued. Okay.
Yes.
Because I read that and was like, that's not right. She continued. What the fuck? Anyway.
Yeah. You're right. But it's a typo.
Here's the thing that needs to be read real quick. She addressed all this stuff on Instagram, right?
Okay, I'll go ahead and read it. I'm going to be transparent and say that it's not a huge shock for me. For those who aren't aware, there has been a rampage of vitriol. That's how you say that, Zio. That we have faced since the show was even announced.
I have to say vitriol.
Okay, well, you never know with you. when it was still just a concept and no one had even seen it, because it was a retarded concept.
Yeah.
Oh,
it was also, because Leslie
it's when
Headland
words rearrange themselves on me that I have a problem reading it. Okay,
well, that's fine. A lot of these journalists have a problem writing it too.
That's true too. Um, but yeah, like it's funny because I had saw a thing on Facebook, right, about controversial shows canceled or something like that, and it
Yeah,
had like
Hmm.
three of them listed or something, and the bottom one was uh, Star
Acolyte.
Wars: The Acolyte, and where it had listed as like toxic fans got it canceled. I'm just, and naturally, my comment every time I see that is like, somebody explain to me why how toxic fans canceled a show.
Yeah.
Explain to me how not watching your show got it canceled, and that is our fault somehow.
No, see,
Because
that's the
you've
thing is,
got a fandom, right, that you're trying to tap into or something that should be supporting you. How is it that these toxic people who didn't watch it get your show? Oh, that's right, because nobody actually watched the shit. It's not
Yeah.
just the so it's like 90% of the fandom is now toxic fans because nobody wants what you're shoveling.
Well, the thing is that them trying to blame it on people who didn't like it and didn't watch it and kind of made fun of it. This is basically taking away the agency of people of their own supposed fans. They're saying that these people wanted to watch it, but somehow were just unable to break through other people not watching it. I don't know how that happens. Me not watching it in my house somehow affects Becky and Becky next door who wants to watch it, but she's like, I
Yeah.
just can't because the neighbors aren't watching it. Oh, I need the
Meg's not
collectivist.
watching it. Can't watch it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
what can
it's
I do?
just
Oh no! So it
well,
just it makes no sense. But the thing is, this is the infantilization of their own audience, and this is basically what copium does to you. Also, it makes you a liar.
well, see here,
To where they're yeah. Go ahead.
see here's the thing. They're using toxic fans as a scapegoat,
Yeah.
and I mean, in all honesty, how do I put this? In all honesty, it's their fault, but taking accountability for their failures just again, it's they can't. So they
well,
gotta blame the toxic fans. By the way, what they really want is a captive audience. They want you to be, if they could, they would want you as the viewer to be locked in a room and you're not coming out until you watch our shitty show.
Yeah.
well, see, it all
Honestly, the
goes back to bad writers again too. I mean, not
yeah.
only do you hire people who actively hate your brand, it's like the thing
Mhm.
with what is it, Snow White or something in the Seven Dwarves.
Oh,
You know,
that's
like
Yeah.
you hire an actor to check a box, and
Hmm.
then it turns out she actively hates the thing she's working on, and it's like,
Hmm.
why, like, this should not be rocket science that somebody like me or Meg or Chad or Asmongold or whoever has to come out and sit there and say, why do you keep doing that? It's not that hard to
and
figure
she's
out.
getting
If
more
this
work. It's so
person
weird.
actively hates the property that you've hired them to work on, why keep them around? Just get rid of them. Find somebody who likes it. You know, that's why it's great when Henry Cavill was doing The Witcher, because he went to bat against those writers who wanted to do their own thing,
Hmm.
and it was a phenomenal show for the first season and a half.
And they hated
Yeah.
that it was a success.
And then when he
Yeah.
was gone, nobody talks about The
Right
Witcher
off a
anymore.
cliff.
Like, The Witcher and the whole toss your coin to a Richer became a meme. Everybody loved it.
Hmm.
Everybody was doing
Oh my
covers of
gosh.
it and everything. And that is because of Henry Cavill,
Yep.
because he kept the writers in check and he worked hard and tirelessly to do so because he loved
And the
the
thing,
property while the writers did not. And
and the thing is
that's
that
the
I
thing.
don't. And the thing is that people like me who are not Witcher fans, I never watched the show. I wasn't interested in watching the show. But the thing is that, and I've been mad at Henry Cavill ever since Man of Steel because I mean I know it's not his fault, but he was the face of the movie that I hated that kind of like made me dislike Superman, and then Batman versus Superman, and I don't even want to talk about it. Um, but the thing is that hearing that he really cared about the lore made me go, you know what, dude, I'm rooting for you. I'm never gonna watch your show because it's not for me. A and two, I don't have Netflix anymore because cuties. But I was like, you know what? I'm rooting for you though. Like, I want him to succeed. And then once I found out that he was leaving, I was like, you know what? I want the show to fail now. This is the thing that they're actually inspired
Well,
in
I
people.
think.
They've actually inspired us to dislike their shows and to want them to fail.
Well,
Like
see, that's
even
the funny
these
thing.
the
You
yeah.
said you wanted it to fail. Well, if I remember right, Zio, you might be able to confirm this. Um, so did the writers. The writers actually actively wanted the
Well,
shows.
they didn't want it to fail. They
No,
wanted to
what
do
I'm
their
Well,
saying
they
own
is,
wanted it to
thing.
fail with Henry in it. I didn't want it to fail when Henry was in it. When Henry was in it, I wanted it to succeed because I was like, this guy really respects this lore, and I was like, this is so rare, and this is pretty awesome to find somebody who actually cares about it. If I had seen like enough interviews, I would have been inspired to actually watch this dang show, and I knew it wasn't for me because I was like, this is just it's not my thing. Okay, Witcher's a
Yeah,
little nihilistic for
you
me,
know,
but I was someone who cares about it can make you want their love for something, their care of it is infectious. It makes you want to believe and to watch that thing and watch it grow and thrive and everything. When you have people who actively hate the IP, you just feel sorry for the IP and you hate those people and you want them to fail because they're doing
there
bad
was
things.
there was a project. I can't remember if it was a video game, but there was a project I remember we covered at some point where the writer, the dev, somebody on the team was more wanting it to fail because of what they called extreme right wing gamers or viewers. I can't remember which like their show.
Yeah, I remember hearing about that. I don't remember what it was, but yeah.
I think it was Fallout.
They're like they liked it wrong. Oh, it was also
Oh,
there was also
it might have been.
That
what
or
was
it
it?
was the
Joker.
boys, one of the two. No, well, no.
Well, there
It
was
might have been the
Joker
boys
where they basically destroyed Joker
That's what
in
it was.
Joker
It was
2, Folie
Joker.
à
because
Deux,
no,
because
they
people
wanted the
were
Joker to
enjoying it wrong.
they wanted the Joker to fail. Um, but no, I think the one that they really wanted to nosedive because people were liking was either Fallout or the boys, because that's the one where everybody was like, "Well, Homelander is clearly your leftist in his fan base there," and that's when the writers were coming out, going, "No, no, no, that's an allegory for Trump." And then I think they wanted it to fail after that or something, but everybody loved it.
That's when you
And
go,
then
you
they
keep
had to
using that word.
and they like apparently ham-fisted into the last season a bunch of stuff to like make sure you knew that these were Trumpians. But every time they did it, it was just one of those cringe things. It's like, why? This
It's like
feels out of place for
when
everything
the feds
building up
try
to
to
the
fake
show
it.
at this point.
Yeah, it's basically just lying at that point. You know,
Yeah.
you're like, oh, okay, yeah,
Well,
that's you keep using these words, but you don't know what these words really mean.
But like,
and I was gonna say, and it's like when I see people that are like this, that try to kind of obfuscate the real reason things fail.
Hmm.
I keep thinking of one little thing.
I've got a peer-reviewed study right here that says says you're a pussy.
Thank you, Duke Nukem.
but I mean, they're not wrong either. At the same time, like when they say we were happy with the performance, maybe they really are. They are happy with the performance, but it didn't do what they needed to do to cover the costs because nobody else was happy with it. The consumer was not happy with what you produced. You may
Well,
have
what they're doing
enjoyed
is they're
it,
telling a
but that's great if the people you want it to watch it don't like it.
well, the thing is that they're telling a half truth. It is partially true that the reason that they're not renewing the Acolyte is because of the fact that it costs too much. But that's only half of the story because if it cost that much and was a success, they wouldn't care.
Yeah,
So this is trying to obfuscate the truth by telling half of it, and it's it's lying basically. It's
and
lying
it's
by omission, which is rarely something that I actually go for
and I
complaining
don't
about too
know
much.
how they spent way too much money on this because they cut a bunch of shit out. I mean,
It was so stupid looking.
I don't know where the budget went to unless it was just the special effects to fight Smilemonger or whatever the hell his name was or something, and that was it. Smilo Ren, if that's where all the budget went to or whatnot, but they cut out a lot of things they could have done and been great, like our Wookiee fighting with a lightsaber. They just cut that shit completely out.
Dude,
Didn't
why?
really get a fight
That would have
at
been
the
so
start
cool.
much that well either.
Well, they
with
kind
a
of did,
Jedi.
but not really.
Not really, but I mean, like, the Jedi stuff is usually where the budget should probably go in a property like this. And it's like, where the fuck did that budget even go to? Like, what was paid? Because you cut out a lot of the good bits, and we didn't even see some of it. Some of it was done off camera. I mean, was blowing up your rock building really worth most of the budget or something? Because, I mean, it was a waste because rock doesn't catch fire to begin with, but clearly it does.
That was so stupid. I mean, there's a reason that campfires are surrounded by a circle of stones. It's because stones don't catch fire, guys.
Stone is flammable.
This is not
now.
difficult.
And apparently, in the Star Wars universe,
entire building
stone is flammable.
made of stone.
Yeah, just up in flames. It's like, why?
Yeah, it's those new stones.
There's not even enough drapes in the place to even justify it catching fire.
It was all so stupid. I mean, that was stupid. The little sister saying, I'm going to kill you to stop you from leaving." I'm like, wait, what? I'm sorry. I was 10 once, and I had siblings. I had a lot of siblings, and they got on my nerves a lot. We got on each other's nerves. We never once threatened to kill the other person, and would not have set something on fire to do this.
A sociopath would do.
Yeah. And so there's no redemption arc for you when you're a sociopath.
So yeah, like
I get that
if they want the sister to be a sociopath and then killed at the end.
No, but they wanted her. But they wanted her to be. She apologizes at the end.
And it's like, there's no redemption for somebody like that. I don't even know how.
Well, the thing is,
they can't have a woman be a villain.
Yeah, that too.
They can't have a woman be wrong even. Like, in the end, it's like, oh no, she was kind of right because of the fact that, I mean, yeah, she set the thing on fire, but that was just her being angry. But, she was totally right to murder all of these Jedi because I don't know, because like you guys, your mother and her coven decided to start a fight and couldn't finish it. Like, bro, I'm sorry.
So,
yeah,
your mom started dissolving you.
The Jedi showed up. They wanted to take you all in as younglings, right? And the mother told you to say no, but one of you said yes. And that was it.
Yeah, and
from that we have to kill them all. And it's like, what?
Well, so in episode 7 they show what actually happened in the conflict. And what had happened was when the Jedi went back to they were like worried about the little girls because of reasons. This is all contrived as crap. But they go back there and then they're talking, and then one of the other witch lesbian mother is like starting to like get all aggressive and starting to kind of attack. And then the little girl comes running in and saying, I accidentally set fire to the stones. And then the mother just turns into this smoke demon. And the main guy, Saul, he's kind of like, what the heck? And then he turns and looks at the little girl, and she's literally dissolving. And so he makes the connection. She's dissolving this child. So he goes to kill her, or to stop her at least. So he just runs the lightsaber into the smoke because, you can totally kill smoke that way. And somehow she dies because reasons. And the girl stops dissolving. And somehow this is supposed to be like, oh no, the Jedi were evil. And I'm like, wait, what? No, at worst it was a misunderstanding.
That was an actual moment where a Jedi was acting like a Jedi.
Yeah, this is it. And she was like, I was going to let, and the thing is that you have to go to Leslie Headland's actual interviews to find out what she was doing. She was actually translating them to the Force and was going to like move them to safety or something like that. And I'm like, that's not how the Force works, to quote Han Solo.
I'm
And
pretty
then,
sure it doesn't allow you to teleport like that, but we're talking about space
no,
witches with their space comet who can apparently conceive children utilizing the Force in ways
that also not how the
that
Force
only
works, but
happened
whatever.
one
Or
time. It was a
biology.
big deal
Um,
Yeah,
because they had
I
to
have to
erase
say
somebody
this.
else's
yeah.
story.
I have to say this. In the span of me running to the restroom and coming back here, I came up with a better story.
Okay.
Everybody came
A
up with a better story.
Yeah, but this was in like 2 minutes. A Star
Okay.
Wars film trilogy or show, doesn't matter, that follows Rogue Squadron that
Mm-hmm.
takes a note from was it not Hot Shots? That's the comedy. Top Gun.
Mm-hmm.
So now
The
you're
good one
following
or the lame one?
good one, I would hope. But what I'm
Are
saying
they
is,
both good?
No.
so what I'm saying is, you got this like fighter pilot kind of movie, but with a
Mm-hmm.
sci-fi twist, where you're
Mm-hmm.
following the different members of a rogue squadron, because that gives you name recognition.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and essentially, the different missions they go on to, they maybe one of them gets shot down, and has to survive. No Jedi. And I know that people are like, well,
No,
it's Star Wars, right? It's like
Well, they did the
Star
Mandalorian, so
exactly.
they did Andor.
And you know what's funny? One of my favorite story lines was in the MMO playing as a Imperial agent, but good,
Hmm.
like but
I
light
like the
side,
MMO.
huh?
I like the MMO. I
It had
just
good
wish I had
story. It
people to
had
play
good
with.
story arcs.
I think a
No,
good thing
but
would have an interesting thing would have been to follow some of the clones, and because Finn was clearly one of the
Yeah,
clones, and he was able to break through from the mind thing. So following like following like a rogue group of clones basically, as some of them start to break away and trying to figure out how to get themselves out of this predicament and
I
out of this battlefield and somehow make their way over to the resistance or just live normal lives, you know?
I don't
That would have
think
been
they are
interesting because
capable of writing stories on either of those fronts. Um,
no,
just
I'm just saying something I wanted to
simply to
see,
the yeah, I
you know.
know, but what they probably should have done is which I thought they were going to do because when I first saw it, I was kind of excited for this, but then they had to fuck it all up in the very first episode. But anyway, because I thought, oh yeah, they're setting this in several hundred years prior to everything else that we know and stuff. No, that's not what they did. They put it about 100 years prior, and then they bring in people who shouldn't have been alive. And anyway, what they need to do is go back to the
Kiadi
day of
Mundi. Yeah.
Siths and Jedis as
Hmm.
prominent things, and then do a story with
Hmm.
that. You can easily take your twins, transplant them
Hmm.
to 1,000, 2,000 years prior or something where there's not a whole lot there. There's lots there in the extended universe and stuff, but you can just make a story where you got these twins, and for whatever reason, one is a Jedi, one went with the Sith,
that would be good.
They could they
and
have gone
then
to like the birthplace of Jedi and Sith though? That would have been interesting. Like how did
like
you get these
that would have been
designations?
a much better thing to do. Now, I don't want them to touch the
Yeah.
origin stories of Sith or Jedi. Hell no. They don't need to come near that. Uh, but
Don't
if
you
they
know
just take it to
the force is female?
the time of the universe where there were actual Sith still out and actual Jedi, because we know the technology of Star Wars never advances beyond
Yeah.
this what it currently is. You still get all the stuff you could have from the Star Wars universe. You can tell a good and
Hmm.
bad story where they're kind of like confused. You can
Hmm.
you could tell this story better because then you have that Sith that kills a Jedi in a much better fashion, hopefully, than what they did.
Yeah.
And then they're looking at this other acolyte, this other young Jedi who's about to graduate or whatnot, and they go track her down. It's like, no, you were here. You killed Lord whoever or whatever. We've got, here's the communication crystal that shows you doing it. And then she's got to go on a quest to embark to like clear her name. And then it turns out she's actually, one half of a twin,
Yeah. The thing is that the Osha character just was not enough of a person, and the May character was very inconsistent. So like you
Her
just
whole
don't
writing was
understand.
inconsistent.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah, this is true. But I mean, kept changing her mind, first she wants to kill all the Jedi and it's all their fault, and then she wants to turn herself into the Jedi, and then she runs away from the Jedi, and then she's fighting the Jedi. Now she's trying to kill the Jedi again, and she's just running back to her home, and she wants to kill the Jedi again. But then she doesn't want to kill the Jedi. She wants the Jedi to turn himself in because that's what he's going to do. It makes no sense. It's all kinds of stupid, and you can't understand why the people did what they did. So like even if you wanted to tell this specific story, you need better writers who can actually make these people feel like real people instead of moving pieces like, well, then we want this to happen. It's like, so I'm sure you guys didn't do it, but like this is how we used to play Barbie dolls, when we were kids. This is how people who sucked at it would play. They would just be like, oh, and then this person is here. I'm like, well, why did they do that though? I don't know. They're just here. We just want this to happen. Okay. So it's like playing dolls with someone who's an idiot, basically. It was just bad.
That's just D&D for yeah. So
Uh, yeah, but we don't have dice involved. That's true. But yeah, if you're good though, you can have multiple characters going on and give them all motivations.
yeah,
That's why
but
the Barbie movie pissed me off. But I don't want to talk about
you're
that.
describing D&D but with Barbies. So
D&D
like
with Barbies.
Yeah.
Zio, I got new